Perin Davey, welcome back to Afternoon Briefing. You are literally taking it to the streets there in Deniliquin. We see the banners, we've seen some trucks and tractors. What exactly is the message the crowd's trying to drive home here?
Yeah, look, and they're yelling it out now. Keep Denny thriving, say no to buybacks, and keep Burke's promise are the three main slogans of the day. And let's be clear, this isn't me taking it to the street. This is the grassroots taking it to the street. This rally and two other similar rallies in Leeton and Griffith have been organised by local government, local stakeholders, grassroots branch members of the NFF and the Rice Growers Association and Cotton Australia, who are all concerned about the impact of open slather, open tender buybacks will have on their communities, with the government proposing to remove the social and economic protection that was written into the Basin Plan by Tony Burke. That's why they say keep Burke's promise.
Is that the extent of coalition, or for that matter, community opposition to the bill as we speak, Perin Davey? Has it all boiled down now to the simple matter, or maybe complex matter, depending which way you look at it, of voluntary water buybacks? Is that all we're talking about now from your point of view?
Well, certainly. I mean, no one here wants an unhealthy river system. Everyone wants to see healthy ecology. We love the birds, we love the frogs. It's part of the beauty of living out here. But what we're seeing now, already only 30% of water is taken from the whole Murray-Darling Basin river system. And that's for farming, irrigation, industry, town water and drinking water all combined. So there is already 70% that is for the environment, but it's named different things. And these people are saying, what do you need more water for? And if you can actually legitimise that, if you can say, well, we need more water for X, then these people will be the first ones to come out and go, well, I know how you can do that. I know how you can get water to that wetland. Or I know how you can probably address an invasive fish species like carp, or address fish passage, like putting in fishways. So these people are saying, come and talk to us, talk about different options, because buyback is the laziest and the most impactful option of them all.
The clock is ticking towards the government's desire, or stated goal anyway, Perin, to have this legislation done by the end of the year. In your dealings with them, do you see any room to manoeuvre, any further compromise possible on this question we're discussing?
Well, I certainly hope so, and I am having discussions. I'm calling on the government to reinsert the social and economic test that Tony Burke wrote into the original Basin Plan for this 450, to make sure that any proposals to recover volume of water from productive use meets the neutral or positive social and economic impact test that Tony Burke wrote into the plan. I'm also asking for them not to remove the cap on buybacks, because there is still a significant volume of water available under that cap. And by keeping the cap there, it means that they are going to be true to their rhetoric of looking at all options. That's what we're asking them to do. Look at all options, look at the alternatives, look at the rules changes being proposed by the New South Wales government, rather than buybacks. Keep buybacks as the last option and make sure the social and economic impact test is there.
Okay, and would that cap under your proposal remain exactly where it is now, or could you, with the maintenance of the test that you refer to, could you countenance a higher cap?
Well, really, at the moment, they haven't articulated what they need to increase the cap for. There's still about 225 gigalitres available under that cap, and they need to articulate why they would need more water through buyback than that cap before I would be able to countenance any increase to it. All right,
but you're not ruling it out?
The conversations are ongoing, and I think that is a healthy way for us to proceed. I just hope that the government is true to their word, keeping all options on the table, and really being focused on and having concern for communities like Deniliquin, Leeton and Griffith, who are all rallying today, and I hear there are other rallies planned for Shepparton and Mildura and further north in the basin as well.
It's not an entirely cohesive experience, though, is it? People up and down the basin, including in individual communities, correct me if I'm wrong here, perhaps including Deniliquin itself, Perin, there is a division of views here. I've seen some statements out today from various conservation alliances in Victoria, actually going the opposite way, of course, and supporting the government's proposal. What is the level of division in your local community there?
Well, certainly in my community, there is no division in Deniliquin. I have not had a single person in Deniliquin ever ring me up and say, no, we should have open tender, open slather buybacks. And let me also make it clear that there are proposals on the table for selective and strategic projects that could deliver good environmental outcomes and would see the transfer of water from a farmer to a government with zero risk. And those are the proposals that could be considered and that I believe the environmental groups are very supportive of. But to just say we'll take water from anyone, anywhere, anyhow, is really not strategically thinking and can lead to perverse outcomes, because it can lead to the government owning water where they don't need it, trying to funnel it down a narrow river system through the Barmah Choke, for example, or the Goulburn river chokes systems, and that has detrimental environmental outcomes. So we want to make sure the government knows where they need the water and they're getting the right water for the purposes they need it for.
Okay, and what's the volume available there on those well thought out strategic purchases? Would that get you near to the 450, which is, you know, the government's goal here?
Well, it would certainly get you a lot further down the track. But what we've got to realise is all the low-hanging fruit has gone. The easy recovery has gone, and now it is time to think outside the box. It's time to look at what the New South Wales government is proposing with rules changes and asking them to come off the 450, because they will actually lead to better environmental outcomes than just trying to buy farmers' licences that are very variable and very sporadic and don't necessarily achieve good environmental outcomes.
Doesn't that line of argument, though, disempower the farmer who's decided enough is enough for a whole bunch of reasons to do with their private property ownership rights? They want to sell, they want to get out. Why shouldn't they be allowed? It is voluntary after all.
100%. And any farmer who wants to sell their water, I say to them, go and sell your water. Sell it on the open market. Sell it to another farmer who's going to keep it in the productive pool, who will still grow something with that water. Because that is the difference. When the government purchases water for the environment, it is off the market. It is out of production and it is untouchable by anyone else. Whereas even if you sell your water to an investor that a lot of people like to demonise, at the end of the day that water only sees its value when someone wants to put it on a plant. And so those investors need to sell it back into the consumptive pool, back into the market.
Understood.
So farmers can sell their water tomorrow, they can retire with dignity tomorrow. That is their right, and I 100% support that right. What I don't support is the government coming and taking the water out of that pool when there is only 30% left in that pool. Like, we've done a lot. Let's not forget that over and above the 2,100 gigalitres of water the government holds under the Basin Plan, there's the water recovered under the Living Murray program, the water recovered under the Water for Rivers program, the water held by state government agencies, and also the base flows of the river system. The government and the environment has a lot of water at its disposal. What we need to get better at is how we manage that water, how we ensure fish can get to where they need to go, how we can improve the water quality by addressing invasive pests and species like carp, and how we can improve the riparian health of the river system. None of that can be achieved with extra volume.
All right, well, that brings us right back to the nub of the question that sits before the Senate before this year is out. Perin Davey, let's see where it takes you and all players involved in those negotiations. We appreciate you joining us there from Deniliquin today.
Thank you very much, Greg.